everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to MandoLessons Live. My name's Baron. Hope you're all having a great Saturday, whatever time of day it is for you. It's a rainy day here in Oregon, and I'm sure it is all up and down the coast. We got the gloriously named bomb cyclone coming through, so it's raining cats and dogs, but so far no trees on the house, which is good. I hope you're all safe and well. Let's see who we got in the chat today. If this is your first time, welcome. Say hello in the chat. Meet all the excellent live stream regulars. I see some new faces. I see some old friends. We got Lindsay. We got Sukhmeet. We got Matish. Apologies if I don't get anybody's name right. We got James, William, Denise, Uncle Bobby, Sheldon, Jim, MH, Geroid, Betsy, Bluebird, Jerome, Lewis, Brother Andrew, Jane, Angel, Edward, Kenneth, Mark. Welcome all. Hope you're all doing well, as I already said a couple times. If you're new here, the way this works is an hour of Q&A. So if you got any questions, throw them out there. I already see a couple great ones in the chat. No question too simple. No question too advanced. We'll dive into it. And the first tune that I played there was the tune of the week, which is June Apple. A great old-time tune, kind of major, kind of minor. And we're going to jam along together on that tune at the end of the hour. So make sure you have your mandolin out and tuned up while we're chatting here. Got folks from all over the world. That's what I always like to see. So, Sukhmeet's got a question about mandolin setup. They say, when I play the 7th fret of the G and the open D string, they don't sound in tune, even if you have the open G in tune and the open D in tune. So this is an issue with where your bridge is. So the way to figure out, because at least on most mandolins, the bridge is just floating and it's held down by the tension of the strings. So if the strings are loose, the bridge will just fall right off. So what you do to figure out where to put the bridge in the right spot is when it's tuned up and you have your in tune G here, you hit a harmonic on the 12th fret, which is just lightly resting your finger over that G string. You get that kind of ringing high sound, and then you push down on the 12th fret, and you have to make sure that both of those notes are the same. So if you hit that, the harmonic will always be in tune with your open string, but then if you push down and it comes out sharp, then let's see, you need to move the bridge towards the tailpiece, kind of that way a little bit. And if it comes out flat, then you need to move the bridge towards the fretboard. So it takes a little while to kind of dial it in. You need to hit that, make sure it's the same note. If that note comes out sharp when you actually push the fret down, when you fret the string, then the bridge needs to go towards the tailpiece. If the pressed down 12th fret comes out flat of the harmonic, then it needs to go towards the fingerboard, towards your left hand. And then do that with your G and your E strings. And that, once you get those in tune, you have to, every time you do this, it's a little bit of a process because you need to loosen all the strings, move it a little bit, retighten the strings, loosen, move it, retighten, until you get it dialed in. And something you can do to get it close is if you measure from the nut to the 12th fret with like a ruler, and then you go from the 12th fret, so let's say that's, what does that look like? 9 inches maybe? Well, that would be too much. 7. And then you measure from there, and you take that same measurement from the nut to the 12th fret, and you measure it this way, and that same distance is going to be about where the bridge should sit. And that'll get you in the ballpark, and then from there you can do it with the kind of tuning that I was just talking about. So great question. That's a common thing. So it's just a matter of where your bridge is. Let's see, catch up with the chat here. Are there Jim says, are there less expensive old holes that sound nearly as good as the Ellis? I love the rich bass. I haven't played. I would say keep an eye out. I think one of the best like bang for the bucks for oval holes is an old Gibson. If you keep an eye out, you can often find an old Gibson from the teens in the like around $1,000 if you keep an eye out. Eastman and Kentucky are making great oval holes. Kind of whatever the oval hole version of the KM 150 and the Eastman 305. Maybe it's the 304 is the oval hole. I'm not sure what the Kentucky is in the oval hole fashion, but both of those are great. The ones that I've played anyway. So yeah, they're definitely out there. You can also look into flat. So there's some good flat top options. There's a guy in Oregon, Howard Morris, that I've never played one of his instruments, but I've heard great things. Custom American-made instruments that run around $1,000. There you go. I hope maybe other people in the chat can also help you out, Jim, on the oval hole sound. Kenneth says, good morning from California, Central Coast. Good news, the fire that was burning for 50 miles south is out. Glad to hear it. Hope you got some rain and some much needed firefighters on the case. Lewis is coveting the A4. I'll keep an eye out for you, Lewis. If I see one, you'll be the first to know. Yeah, Eastmans are great. James says, spent the day listening to Wee Banjo 3. They're awesome. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, check out Wee Banjo 3. Early in the pandemic, I made a YouTube video where I played 3 tenor banjos all at once and kind of multi-tracked myself. And I named it Me Banjo 3 as a little joke on Wee Banjo 3. Suggest books for mandolin. Great question. I really like the complete. There's so many great books now. Mandolin for Dummies is great. Don Julin. The Complete Mandolinist, which is a little more classical themed, by Marilyn Mayer. I know Tristan Scroggins just put out a book. I forget what it's called, but I've heard good things about that. Also, Lewis, if you're thinking about ovals, Pava makes some oval holes. I think. I'm pretty sure I've seen some. I've never played one, but same shop as Ellis. Let's see. Yeah, so Kenneth is saying where it gets tricky is when the D and A strings are great, but the A to E isn't. Yeah, there's so with the bridge, if you notice, I don't know how to really. Oh, you can see it a little bit there. Let's see if I can get that light. You can see it, the bridge kind of wiggles a little bit, and that's to kind of compensate for that intonation. And on some instruments, especially older instruments, it just went straight across before they started kind of compensating the bridge specifically. And that also changes depending on what gauge strings you've got on the instrument and kind of various other things. So most like I feel comfortable kind of moving the bridge and getting it as close as I can. But then if I still have intonation issues, that's when I bring it to a shop and say, here's what's going on. Can you help me? And they can recompensate the bridge or work on the nut a little bit. There's a lot of kind of finer details that's better to bring it to a shop. Can you recommend a tune for the octave mandolin? Something sad and gloomy to accompany its dark tone. Great question. There's a tune, the one that just popped into my head. I have an octave mandolin going right now. I'll play a little cittern. This is vaguely in tune. That'll work. There's a tune that's on, I think it's on our album. I can't remember what it's called right now. But my album with Noah Fishman. I'm going to look it up just so I can find it here. Oh, no, it's not on there. It didn't make the cut. There's a great tune I learned from Noah, and maybe I should get Noah back on here sometime, and he can tell you about this tune. I learned it from him, and he actually played it on upright bass, and I was playing it on mandolin. It sounds like this. I'll see if I can do it. It's been a while. Sorry, I don't know the name of that tune off the top of my head. Oh, now I need to put this somewhere. Too much stuff in here. I wish Noah was here so he could tell us the name of that tune. Not very helpful. You could watch it back and get the gist from that playing if you watch the live stream back, I guess. Or, I don't know, something else, something minor and... let's see. Great question. What about like Wayfaring Stranger? Wayfaring Stranger is a great one. Try it in G minor. That's a real nice dark sound, and then it goes bright and major in the B part. Uncle Bobby says, "Do you know any vintage Gibson oval holes for sale?" Well, I'm actually, if anyone's interested, I'm selling my Gibson. The A, it's from the 20s. It's an A. It's a single A, so it's between the A Junior and the A1. And you've seen it. It's in the oval hole comparison video and a lot of other videos. But ever since I got the Ellis, I can't really justify that many oval hole mandolins. It's not the cheapest in the world, but if you're interested, reach out. But other than that, check out Mandolin Cafe. Look in the classifieds. They often pop up in the classifieds. James says, "Your oval versus F made me reconsider my mandolin order that I'm waiting on. Still waiting to visit the workshop and finalize everything." It is interesting. Like, I'm looking at the comments. It seems like a lot of people kind of prefer the sound of the oval hole, which is interesting. And I'm really excited that I got this mandolin because it's so similar to the other Ellis. You know, it's one thing to do like the Ellis F hole versus the vintage Gibson oval hole. There's so many different things going on there. They were built 100 years apart. They, the construction is very different. The wood is very different. These things are like a year or less apart. They are built pretty much the same with, as I said, everything in that video. And it's just sort of like, yeah, well, like what do you prefer? And there is something really warm and mellow about that the oval hole sound, but they're so much less common because Bill Monroe, I guess, Bill Monroe played an F style. Bluegrass became the predominant music that mandolins were found in, and all of a sudden you got a world full of F style mandolins and F hole mandolins. And I still think F hole, if you play bluegrass, F hole is the way to go, because it just, like, these oval holes just don't have the kind of the focus and the I don't exactly know how to describe it, but they're not quite as present. It's got more kind of overtones and ringy sounds versus the F hole, which really has that nice focused chop. But if you're just playing tunes, oval hole is interesting. It's a hard choice. Wayne says, I aspire to play classical music. Is that something you ever touch on? I don't. I don't know anything about playing classical music. But there's an Artist Works class with Katarina Lichtenberg, who does a great classical mandolin course on Artist Works. Nice. Jerome says, playing a Trinity flat top oval. Those are great. How hard is it to learn bouzouki if you already play mandolin? Not hard. You'll pick it up quick. If you tune it, there's a lot of different tunings you can go. You can go straight for like octave mandolin tuning, so just an octave lower than a mandolin. And then it's just sort of figuring out how to make your left hand work a little, but everything translates one-to-one. I play bouzouki in G, D, A, D, so the E string down to D. And I started out playing it like, oh, this is a mandolin, except I have to remember that the high string isn't an E, it's a D. You end up using a capo a lot if you're kind of backing up other musicians. But then the more I played, the less I thought of it as a mandolin, and the more I thought of it as its own thing. Let's see here. Nice. Lewis is going to be in on Main Fiddle Camp, the camp that I teach at every year, which is online. This time around is doing a Winter Maestro Bistro Plus, which is there's concerts by all the instructors who teach at Main Fiddle Camp, and there's also a bunch of workshops. I'm going to be doing some mandolin workshops, along with Glenn, who's the other regular mandolin teacher, and Noah Fishman is also going to be teaching some mandolin. So if you're interested in some mandolin workshops, check out mainfiddlecamp.com. I'm really looking forward to that. House of the Rising Sun, another great spooky melody. How's the 10-string mando? It's great. I love it. Got it right here. It's got I love this thing as well. I feel very, very fortunate to have all these great mandolins. You ever get into foot percussion? I'm finding it fun, but it can affect the quality of the mandolin playing. Stick with it, you'll get it. So I can't show it because I don't have a camera pointing at my feet. But there's a thing in the Quebecois tradition of fiddle tunes where you kind of accompany yourself with your feet. I'll see if the microphone will pick it up. So you do that with your feet, and you can play around with that's sort of the basic step, and then you can play tunes. You can see it shaking the cam. That's foot percussion. And yeah, so it takes a lot of practice. Like, I think what I ended up doing was getting the pattern down, and you can't see my feet, but it's right foot forward with like the kind of the toe, and then right foot backward, so it's right, and then right foot backward, full stomp, and then left toe. So right forward, right stomp, left forward, and right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, and just getting that pattern into your feet, even not even holding an instrument. And I remember like doing this, and it's gonna fall apart a bunch, but just keep trying it. Don't have an instrument in your hands, and then see if you can just like pick up an instrument and hold it, and it'll still probably affect your foot percussion. And then just go from there to like see if you can hit a note in time. Don't worry about your left hand. And then see if you can do like a little scale. And then see if you can do a tune. And it will affect your playing because it's, you know, anytime you try to multitask, things start falling apart. But the more you practice, the smoother everything gets. James is being tempted by shopping that's got some an overhauled old Gibson. James, yep, that's the answer. One of each. Yep, Chris Thiele's got some amazing Bach recordings. Denise, yep, that's a little bit of a real Castonguay or Gastonguay, which is Denise's favorite tune, and my favorite tune probably. It's way up there. Nice, yeah. Andre Brunet is amazing at foot percussion. Yeah, it's I love it. Cool. I think I'm all caught up with the chat, which is a rarity these days. But if anyone's got questions, throw them out there. If I missed your question, just repost it. I'll play a tune here. Play another Quebec tune. I don't remember what that tune is called, but it's a good one. Let me see here. Any more questions come through? Have you ever gone up to Canada to play? Not to play professionally, but my Quebecois fiddle mentor used to live in Guy Bouchard, who is one of the founding members of La Bottine Souriante. He's a friend of mine, and we'd go up to his house, kind of outside of Quebec City, and play tunes all day for a week and just have a good time and learn a ton of awesome tunes. He's now out in more Gaspé Peninsula, but I love going to Quebec, and I look forward to getting back there at some point. The blacksmith. I can't really make the blacksmith work. Like the song. I don't really know it. I know of it, and it's a great song. But unless it's a tune. There are tunes. There's like the Merry Blacksmith, and there's some other blacksmith tunes. I don't know any of them off the top of my head, though, unfortunately. But great request. The Kesh Jig. I was trying to do this the other day, wasn't I? And I couldn't quite. How's the Kesh Jig go? Ah. I think this is it, but I might be wrong. I think that's the Kesh Jig. I kind of always get it confused, so if that was something else, my apologies. How do you approach Shady Grove? Depends on the version, I guess. I don't really like play a version myself, but I know there's like the minor version. And there's also my little love, Shady Grove, my darling, Shady Grove, my little love, I'm going back to Harlan. First I saw the Shady Grove, standing in the door, just like your head, feet on the floor. So there's the major or the minor version. Both are great. I guess the first question is, which one do you want to do? But I don't really play. I don't know either of them all that well. I just follow them when they come up in musical situations. Need a lesson on that, Real Cats on Gay. That would be fun. I don't think I don't think I've done it. Part of me thinks I have, but what have I? Oh, I did Rev de Cato. No, I did some Quebec tune. I can't remember what. Anyway, yes, I should do a lesson on that. Oh, cool, yeah. Ursula says, I wonder if there's any distinctly Newfoundland mandolin fiddle tunes I could learn. Newfoundland has amazing fiddle music. I don't know a whole lot about it. A friend of mine lived in Newfoundland. It's really cool stuff. I've got some album. It's not Andrew. Is it? I feel like there's a mandolin player, Andrew Collins. And I think that's not who I'm thinking of. I don't think he's from Newfoundland. But maybe he is. There's some album. Ursula, ask me this question in the Discord. And maybe I can figure out what this album is. It's really cool tunes. They're very unique. They're not quite like anything else. And I really want to find that album so I can listen to it again. But they've got kind of their own styles of tunes. Very cool stuff. Maybe somebody in the chat can help my brain. I'm thinking of like a duo. I think one person plays mandolin, one person plays fiddle. Maybe it's like Collis rather than Collins. It's way back in my brain. It's not going to come out right now. James, good to have you here. So I just started to learn. It's my first instrument. How long does it take to be coordinated to play songs or tunes? I say jump right into it. What I always recommend, so if you're working with my website, MandoLessons.com, you go through the beginner series. Try to get a good foundation under your fingers, but don't get too hung up on the technical side of things. I think the most important thing to do is really, once you kind of have the basic understanding of how to make sound, go right in, start playing tunes, start playing songs. It's going to be a lot more fun than practicing scales and techniques and things like that. So I always recommend people, go through the beginner series and then jump right into fiddle tunes. Just browse through the fiddle tune section of my website, and anything that really grabs your ear, jump on it. Don't worry too much. Like you can sort tunes on my website by like beginner, intermediate, advanced, etc. But don't let that stop you. If you see an intermediate tune, you're like, oh, that's a tune I love, but it's intermediate and I'm not an intermediate player. Don't worry about that. It's also arbitrary, and often you'll make the most progress. At least for myself, I often make the most progress by, latching onto a tune that seems a little above my pay grade, and then got to figure out like, okay, how am I going to I really want to make this sound, and that motivation will make you a better musician. Just take it slow and keep at it, and it'll all come together. So welcome to the wonderful world of mandolin, and just the more you play, you can't get worse if you keep trying. And try to have as much fun as possible. Don't worry about doing like the right thing, as long as you're not as long as you're not like hurting yourself physically by playing in a way that is uncomfortable. Try to develop some good habits by going through the beginner series, but mostly just have fun. That's what this instrument is about. Oh, I would love to come up and play some tunes in pubs. That's my favorite thing to do. Got to do that for the first time here in Oregon. Last Sunday was my first time playing in a pub in 2 years, and it was great, and I'm gonna do it again. Caitlin DeGavin, amazing concertina player and flat footer. Or I don't know if it's called flat foot, but dancer, Irish dancer. Caitlin DeGavin is one of my favorite musicians. There's a great album I've been listening to recently called like Nagavisky. It's Caitlin, and it's like a big amalgamation of a bunch of their names. I can't remember who all it is. It's Caitlin and Sean McComiskey maybe, and I don't know all the people, but it's a great album. Nagavisky. It's a little hard to find. What are your thoughts on lore mandolins? I've had a couple, and the ones I've played I really like. I'd say if you find one that's in your budget and you like the sound of it, go for it. Yeah, definitely. Find some Newfoundland tunes. Okay, Andrew's from Toronto. Cool, Lewis. I'm glad you're enjoying the searchability of the website. Yeah, I had a buddy help me make the website a little more searchable, and it definitely is a little easier to get around now. Yeah, going back to like when to learn tunes. Yeah, learn like Flop-Eared Mule and Angeline the Baker and things like that. Go right for tunes. Tunes are fun, so I'd say maximize fun. Go right after, as long like just follow your interest. If you hear something, you're like, I want to do that. I mean, I got into mandolin by hearing Chris Thiele and being like, I don't know what that instrument is. It's not a fiddle and it's not a guitar, but I want to do it. And he you don't jump right into playing Chris Thiele, but you can use whatever you like to hear as like, hey, that's what I want to do. And then you say, okay, I'm going to learn like that style and figure out what you can. There's lots of great resources on the internet. See if you can find people in your town that play, and just immerse yourself as much as you can. Immerse yourself as much as you can. Cool. Glad you are enjoying the tunes, Kenneth. All right, I think caught up with the chat again. Where are we at time-wise? All right. I must be well caffeinated or something. I feel like I'm able to keep up with the chat today. Oh, speaking of keeping up with the chat, if you really want me to be able to dive in deep and answer some questions a little more fully and not have to try to race the chat, for patrons who support me at $5 a month or more, there's a patron-only live stream, and that is tomorrow. So looking forward to hanging out with you all there. It's going to be a good time. Thank you, everyone. There's a bunch of patrons in the chat, which really, help me do these live streams. All the super chats help. The PayPal link and there's lots of links in the description. However you want to support is great. Even if it's just watching and asking questions, that's just as good. I couldn't be doing this if it was all donations, but nobody asked me questions. That doesn't make any sense. But just a little heads up to patrons. Tomorrow is going to be the patron live stream. And it's not too late if you want to jump on now and do another live stream tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's there. Let me see here. What did I miss here? Yeah, definitely. The feeling of achievement tune by tune. Yeah, getting a tune under your fingers is great. And I think I jumped into something that was like a little over I think it was Turkey in the Straw. I was like, that's the tune. Really want to learn that one. And it's kind of a notey tune, but I knew it a little bit. Like I often tell people to learn You Are My Sunshine because it's already in the sort of, everybody already knows the melody. And so, listen to a lot of mandolin music, listen to a lot of tunes. And that way, when it comes time to learn them, you say, hey, this sounds familiar. And it's one less step of like, I always say learning tunes is kind of a two-part process. The tune is out here, and you need to get it in your head, and then you need to figure out, part two is sort of transferring the melody that's in your head out through the physical instrument. But if you already know a tune in your head, that's like half the work done. So like Angela, Turkey in the Straw, or what was the one that I was just talking about? You Are My Sunshine, all that sort of stuff. Take stuff that's already in your head and see if you can get it to come out on the instrument. That's a great question. Typing Hazard always has. I also love that screen name, but you also always have good questions too. Fiddle tunes have so many variations. How do you know if you're learning the tune versus playing an almost right version? I just don't worry about it too much. I think. That's an interesting question. I'll go a little deeper. If I'm learning a tune from a source, I just say, okay, this is like, I'm learning it from this source. I'm just going to assume they know what they're doing. And even if it's a little different from, the way other people might play it, there's no like right or wrong. So I'm constantly just being like, oh, you do that a little bit different. I'm just going to follow your lead. If somebody says like, hey, let's play Angela and the Baker, and then they play it a little different, I don't go, no, that's not how it goes. I just say, oh, you play it a little different. I'm going to do what I can to match my version up to yours. And then I guess like I struggle with this a little bit when I make tunes for the website, because I don't want to throw, like, some versions that I have of my own of tunes are kind of weird. And I'm not like, there's a tune, Forked Deer. I don't think I've made a lesson for that because I don't know where my B part came from. So I'm a little hesitant to like throw out tunes as sort of like a source, as like making myself the source for a tune if I don't play it like everybody else. Just because I don't want to add to the confusion myself. But that's only in like my sort of professional, like I don't want to like broadcast a lesson on a tune where I've mislearned a tune in a way, or like it's not even that I mislearned it. Like I play Forked Deer with people, but I don't play the melodies that they play. And it works, but I don't teach Forked Deer because my B part is weird. Yeah. Ooh, so that's a little in-depth thought about. But in general, I don't worry about versions. I just try to do what other people do, or try to learn from the source as closely as I can. Is it important, or it is important, to work on doing all the tunes in various keys? I don't know if that's a question or a statement. It can be important if that's something you want to. If you want to become fluent in a bunch of different keys, working on tunes in those different keys can be really helpful. That said, if you just want to play tunes, for the most part, those tunes are in a key, or sometimes there's a couple key options, but like nobody plays St. Anne's Reel in E flat. So practicing it in E flat will make you better at E flat, but it won't make you better at playing St. Anne's Reel with other people necessarily, because everybody plays it in D. And speaking of that, somebody just requested St. Anne's Reel, so I'll play a little bit of it. St. Anne's Reel, yeah. St. Anne's Reel. Got a little funky with it there, but it's fun to play around. In my experience, the easy sounding tunes can be the hardest to learn, and some of the harder sounding ones seem really easy. Seems to be a theme I've noticed. Yeah, definitely. That's totally true. Like Angela and the Baker. Oh, I don't tend to teach that tune as a beginner tune. It's really kind of syncopated. You know, like a tune that's really notey can be a little easier because it's just a constant string of eighth notes. And it's just sort of like there's a note every, 8 notes per measure. But with like Angela and the Baker, if you think about it, it's a song that a lot of people know, but the melody is very syncopated. It's Angela and the Baker, Angela, I know. It's very like it's got a lot of kind of pickup notes, and that especially with it really requires to get a nice groove on it, it requires proper pick direction. And so you actually have to start on the upstroke on a bunch of Angelina the Baker because... So it's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's you use a lot of weird things like phrases ending on ups and starting on ups. It's a little weird in the kind of right hand, so that can be a barrier that a tune that's more notey and maybe more advanced, makes those tunes a little easier, is the just kind of constant right hand movement. Ursanos has a good point. My biggest problem is the tab and sheet music I find for a tune doesn't quite line up the way the artists play them. That's the thing about tablature and kind of learning from a written source, is that written source probably isn't the same as the way you first heard the tune, or the same as your favorite version of the tune. It can be a great way to get 90% of the tune down and kind of the fundamental skeleton of the tune, and then you can go back to your favorite version and say, okay, what is different about this? And it's a good exercise. It's a great form of like critical listening. Like, okay, I know what I know from learning it from the tablature and the written source, but what do I do? Like, what is this artist that I like? I like this version. What are they doing that's different? That's gonna really help kind of develop your listening and your ears and figuring out all of those different skills. James says, I wish there was someone in my area that I could get some pointers from. How could I find someone? I would go to the Mandolin Cafe forums and post in there. Say, hey, I'm in this area looking for some pointers or somebody to play with. I think there's a whole forum section dedicated to that thing. And there's often people that are there and you've just never met them. I remember I helped organize an old time music camp out, and I remember like, oh, I wonder, like, there's not that many people that play old time around here. We'll see how many people show up. And then all these people came out of the woodwork who just like lived 5 minutes from me, and I never knew they existed just because you never know who's there until you go looking. But yeah, I would ask on Mandolin Cafe on the forum. Hey Andrew, thanks for the kind words. Glad you're enjoying the lessons. Nice, yeah. Sierra Hull does a great version of San Israel. Such a pretty tune. Are there any American-made F-style mandolins under $3,000? Definitely. Maybe other people can help me here. I know they're out there. Keep an eye. You're probably looking used, which is the way to buy mandolins anyway. Save a bunch of money, and people have already made them sound better by playing them. F-style mandolin under $3,000. You might be able to find a used Collins under $3,000 at this point. So maybe, I would ask on Mandolin Cafe. I'm a little out of practice thinking about what stuff costs these days, especially in F-style land, because I've never bought an F-style really. But they're out there. Nice. I'm glad you're trying, Ruth. So my roommate's laughing at me trying to keep up with you on St. Anne's Rail. Just keep doing it. I do that all the time. I'm trying to keep up with tunes I can't play and I don't know, and they're going by too fast, and that's what it's all about. It's just trying and seeing what you get. Ah, nice. Alex says I recently got into David Surratt. He's the best. Northern Roots. Yeah, I've never made it up to Northern... Wait. I'm getting Northern Roots and something else mixed up. I have been to Northern Roots. Is that the one in Brattleboro, or is that up in Montpelier? Can't remember, but... it's been so long since I've thought about like real live camps. Northern Roots is in Brattleboro, I think. I really can't remember. I've been to the one in Brattleboro a bunch. David's the best. He comes to Main Fiddle Camp. He's a super huge influence on my playing, and so many players. Yeah. Let's start a David Surratt Appreciation Society. Arsenaut says, I'm not creatively confident enough to do variations like that yet. That's a good thing. I would say just try it. I wasn't feeling particularly confident when I was doing it, and I was definitely stumbling a little bit. I think I'm like, more than... I think that's the thing. It is confidence. Like, you just got to get used to trying stuff. That's the nice thing about music is, like, compared to like visual art, like I'm more hesitant to try like visual art because you put a mark on the page and it's there forever. I can sit there and go, you've already forgotten about that weird little like flub that I made. It's kind of over time, and like what you do disappears, and it's in one ear out the other. So just like I've spent a lot of time just like practicing being confidently creative, and it definitely does not work all the time. And I try to do that on this stream just to tell people that it's okay. Like hit bad notes. Like I've sat there for like half an hour just going like, just like I kind of studied a lot of that kind of like open improvisation in college, and it really, as far from fiddle tunes as it sounds, I feel like there's a lot of crossover in sort of the way that you approach kind of confidence in music, and just like the more you do it, the more confident you'll get, and the more the less of a big deal it will be when you do something that doesn't really work. Like I'm constantly making musical choices that don't work, but the more you try them, the more you say, hey, that worked, hey, that didn't work, let me try not to do that one that doesn't work again, and it all gets better. Yeah, making happy music is the goal. That is wise words from Betsy. The key to learning from tab is to know the tune in your head before going into the tab. I like that. Harsh Store, glad you're enjoying the lessons. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for saying hello. Yeah, Weber might make a... I don't know what the prices of... I feel like instrument prices have gone up a lot recently. Oh yeah, Kentucky makes great, like the 1050. I think that's an F style. Those are great. Oh, but those aren't American made though. But that was one of your things. Oh, Northern Roots is his album. There's some I don't know that album. Gotta check it out. There's a camp in either Brattleboro or Montpelier called Northern Roots. Thanks, Andy, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Sorry you missed it. Oh well, time gets away from me. It's already almost time to go. But yep. See you at office hours for sure. And if anyone ever can't make these, they're always archived, so you can go back and watch them. Denise, who's in the chat here, does a great job of making episode guides with kind of time-stamped links to different tunes that I play and different subjects. So you can always watch them later. Do you have any videos on how to make the harmonization of an easy melody to be played in mandolin duo? It's something that... is it something that can be fit into a short video? That's a tricky one. I don't know if I do or not. I can't remember. I might have a basic thing on harmony. Maybe somebody else knows better than me. I kind of lose track of lessons that I've made. But yeah, it's definitely a tricky... I'm not very practiced at teaching it. I've got some friends who are much better at kind of teaching the concepts behind harmony. I just kind of... I don't know. I don't know how to explain it very well, but it's something I should work on. So maybe I should do more lessons on harmony. It's a great idea for sure. can't wait for your freestyle avant-garde mandolin album now. Ooh. Me too. That'll be fun. Thank you, Revolution number 9. Yeah, that needed. That's what was missing in that one. In that song was a mandolin part. Yep, Facebook is also a good way to find other mandolin players. Could you run through the chords quickly before playing the play along? Sure. So great segue, James. The tune we're about to play together is. Can't remember the name. June Apple. So it's the first part's in A minor or A Dorian, and the second part is in A major. So it goes A minor, then G, then A minor. Major for the beat part. G and D, A major, G and D and A major, this is the second B, and G, D, A major, and G, D, A major, then A minor, G, A minor, so it's A minor and G in the A part, and then A major, G and D in the B part. So let's jump into it. The tune is June Apple. This is a tune I don't play a whole lot, so let's see how it goes. I hope I don't get too far off track. So I'll play the melody, you play the chords, then we'll swap. I'll play the chords, you play the melody. 1, 2, here we go. B part, A major. Take it. little June apple. Always fun. All right, well, thanks everybody. Let me know what tune we should play next week. We'll get it. I'll check with the list and see if we can find something we haven't done before. Catch up with these last couple questions, and then bid you all a farewell, and hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. Kenneth says, I found the perfect way to get good playing mandolin. This is one of my favorite tips. Keep it out on a stand. If you can find somewhere kind of safe to have it out, whether it's on a stand or on the wall, where it's not going to get knocked over by a pet or a kid or a roommate. If it's out of the case, it doesn't take that long to get something out of the case, but there's a serious mental obstacle to get over, to be like, okay, gotta get it out of the case, just keep it out on a stand if you can. You'll play it twice as much. Don't worry about like, oh, I gotta pick up the mandolin and play for an hour. I would say most of the time I pick up a mandolin, I play for like 5 minutes and then I put it down because I have other stuff to do. But 5 minutes 5 times a day, much better than an hour a day, like in one sitting, or an hour a week. The tiny little bits of practice is the way to go. Ooh, all right. And then things with strings. How do you do the fast triplet strums? Strum better. It depends. This might be a question kind of in depth, but it depends. Do you mean like the chord, like? I guess it's the same, or like a picked melody. That sort of stuff. It's the same idea. There's some lessons on my website. I might not jump into the whole thing. If you look up triplets on my website, there are some lessons over there. And then I feel like my pick flops around in my hand, gets dropped or gets stuck in the strings. So in general, the fact that the pick is moving is good because it means you don't have like a death grip on it. And a nice kind of relaxed hand is much better than, I always say in lessons, you get 10 extra points if you drop your pick, because it means you're not holding it too tight. I think one thing that can help, so it does take a little bit of getting used to. Something that I've been talking about a lot lately, and I've found myself doing, I just never really kind of thought consciously about it. I just always have a pick in my pocket, and you just kind of like fidget with it. And you're gonna drop it a lot, but just the fact of like having it in your hand, you can like fake strum, and you can just figure out a lot just by having it in your pocket in your hand. It's like, you spend a lot of time writing with a pencil, or I don't anymore because of the smartphones, unfortunately, but you get the idea. Have the pick on you and just play with it, and like, you don't even need to have a mandolin. It's just something to hold on to, and you'll kind of figure out how you can hold it, things like that. And then in terms of like getting stuck in the strings or kind of missing, I think something that can help there is getting the mandolin at an angle. So right now the pick is going like straight through the strings, flat edge of the pick to the string. But if the mandolin is at an angle, and you look at the pick, that left edge, for me looking down, the left edge goes through the string first and makes it less likely to get kind of caught. Whereas if I'm doing this, like if I try to do triplets, but if it's at that angle, and that's yeah. So there's some thoughts on triplets. I'm glad you're a fan of Velocipede. That's my band with Julia Plum, the most excellent fiddle player. Looking forward to going back to. I'm going to go back to Maine this winter and get to hang out and play tunes with Julia. I'm very excited. So let's check out what the tune for next week is going to be. There's some requests. We've got Old French. It's a great tune. Lilting Banshee. Let me check. Play along jams. First was Old French. I bet we've done that one. Episode 41. So that's a while ago. It's over 60 episodes ago or something. Yeah. 70 episodes. So that's definitely... We'll do whichever one we did less. Lilting Banshee. The Lilting Banshee. Denise, you're amazing. The Lilting. We have not done the Lilting Banshee. Let's do the Lilting Banshee next week. Great tune. I don't remember how it goes right now, but you can look it up, like I'm about to do on my website, MandoLessons.com. Practice it this week, and next weekend, hopefully I'll be back for another live stream. Thank you all so much for the support. Patrons, I will see you tomorrow, and let's all play a bunch of Lilting Banshee. And, yeah. Okay, one last question here. So, good to see everybody. Thanks for the farewells. What's a good pick to start with? I like these Dunlop Prime Tone 1.5 millimeter large triangle. They're fairly inexpensive. I think a great thing to do is go to a music store, spend $5 or $10 on a handful of different pick thicknesses and materials and shapes. Just see what you like. It's really kind of a personal preference. But I like these Dunlop Prime Tone large triangles. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you all again soon. Bye-bye.